Yes, some kids may react to food dyes. No, they're not the root of all childhood behavior problems. Today on the Good Eaters Club, we're talking about artificial colors and behavior. What the research actually says, what petroleum based really means, whether they're banned in Europe, and why this is probably not the biggest lever when it comes to your child's health. And we are also going to hold space for the fact that you are the expert of your child and you know them best. So, what are artificial food colors? They're synthetic dyes added to foods to enhance the color and make them more visually appealing because we eat with our eyes. You'll most often see them in things like candy, frosting, fruit snacks, cereals, sports drinks, and other fruit beverages, and other packaged snacks. Common examples of artificial food colors are red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, and blue 1, to name a few. And this is just how we name them here in the United States. They're FDA approved and evaluated at specific intake levels, usually way higher than the amounts we actually consume them. Petroleum based. Let's clear this up. You might hear artificial dyes described as petroleum based. That phrase is usually said in a way to make it sound alarming. Here's what it actually means. Many synthetic dyes were originally developed from petroleum-derived compounds. That's true. But petroleum is simply a starting material in a chemical process. Everything consists of chemicals. The final ingredient used in food is purified, refined, and chemically different from crude oil or gasoline. Lots of things start from petroleum, including medications, certain vitamins, and medical supplies. Petroleum-based does not mean that your child is eating gasoline. What matters in toxicology is the final chemical structure, the dose, the acceptable daily intake, and safety testing. Artificial food dyes have established acceptable daily intake levels, meaning the amount considered safe to consume daily over a lifetime. I'm not saying that artificial food dyes are nutritious. They provide no nutritional value, but they are tested for safety at levels that we typically consume or much higher. But they're banned in Europe. This comes up all the time. People often say that things are banned in Europe that we allow here. That's not entirely accurate. Many of the same dyes used in the United States are actually permitted in the European Union. The difference is that in the EU, certain artificial colors require labeling stating may have an adverse effect on activity and attention in children. That labeling requirement led many European manufacturers to voluntarily move away from artificial colors. So it's less about outright bans and more about regulatory approach and consumer demand. It's not as simple as the United States allows them and Europe bans them. So what does the research actually say about artificial colors and behavior? This is where nuance matters. Some research suggests that some kids, especially those with ADHD, may be more sensitive to artificial colors. That is real. But here's what we're talking about in regards to the research. Small sample sizes, not consistently replicated across all studies. Observational studies with parent-reported outcomes. And here's the tricky part. Many of these studies relied on parent or teacher-related behavioral observations. And when we expect a food to cause behavior, we're more likely to notice it or remember it. That doesn't mean that parents are wrong. It means behavior is complex, and isolating one variable in real life is difficult. So yes, sensitivity may exist, but it's not universal, and it's not guaranteed to cause hyperactivity. So here's where context matters, and the part we don't talk about enough. Is it the red 40 in the frosting, or is it that the only thing they ate was cupcakes, chips, and candy? Because those are very different conversations. Here's the thing. Artificial colors typically show up in foods that are also higher in added sugar and sodium, lower in fiber, lower in protein, lower in iron, and lower in omega-3 fats. Those nutrients, protein, iron, fiber, healthy fats, have much stronger and more consistent links to regulation, mood stability, and energy levels. If a child's diet lacks nutrient density, that can influence behavior much more broadly than a single dye. When we zoom out to long-term health outcomes, removing artificial dyes alone is unlikely to create a dramatic shift. If you've noticed a clear pattern, reproducible behavior changes, or improvement after removing dyes, that experience matters. Parents are experts on their own children, and making adjustments based on consistent patterns is reasonable. Making changes based on fear without looking at the bigger picture is different. So what will actually move the needle on children's health? If we're talking about behavior and long-term health, the strongest drivers are sleep, iron status, omega-3 intake, protein adequacy, fiber intake, predictable meals and snacks that ideally have some protein, fiber, and fat, emotional regulation support. And believe it or not, movement, those factors consistently show stronger influence than artificial colors alone. Artificial colors are not poison. They're also not nutritionally beneficial. For most kids, they're a smaller part of a much larger dietary pattern. And for some kids, sensitivity may exist. Both of those things can be true at the same time. And honestly, I wish we put as much attention on adding in nutrients that actually support regulation as we do from removing the color from a cupcake, because one of those has much stronger evidence behind it. And remember, the goal is never to fear food. It's not about perfection. It's about raising confident, flexible eaters without shame or anxiety around food. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to subscribe below so you never miss an episode of the Good Eaters Club.